Hello and welcome to Meet Your Inspiration podcast with Meri and Rich. Here we're talking about inspiration, motivation and empowerment. Our guests are ordinary people who became extraordinary, and we're sharing their stories. We want to empower you to become the person you want to be and to go beyond your dreams.
Today, we've got these two very special guests, Bill Best and Christy Foraker, and they run a business which is something that maybe as a young boy, maybe it was a dream for me to have a railway in my back garden. I don't know if you've ever thought that. I mean, young boys, they have these amazing dreams. This is something very special. So, Bill and Christy run the Bredgar Wormshill Light Railway, which is near Sittingbourne. Welcome to you both. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
We're really excited to learn about what you're doing. And as we talk with Richard, it's like when a passion become a business
Reality.
and
Yes,
reality.
yeah.
And it's really interesting because we're going to talk as well about family business, which is awesome. So we want to start with how we met them.
Yeah, well,
I'll
first of
give
all,
this up to you.
so our amazing sponsors, What's On in Kent, do networking with the difference. And Nick McGowan, our good friend, invited us to come along to your amazing railway in the garden. And that was my opportunity. And we met and we started talking and we just thought this is such a great story. So how did it start? So we go back, in the 1970s?
1970s. My father bought the site in 1970, and he had sold. We farmed in Essex, amongst other things. He did other jobs, but we had a farm in Essex, which was we rented a farm there. But his passion was they used to do up old vehicles. So we had army lorries, all sorts of things, an old coach. And when he bought that, he ended up having to sell nearly all of it to fund the purchase. So he ended up there with no electricity. It was at the Warren
in Kent.
In Kent. So once he got there, everything was sold really.
Was it a farm or was it just a house?
The house was about 30 acres.
Okay.
So, but it's a very interesting story. The house itself was the home of the Travers family. The Travers family were the pioneers of aviation in the UK, flying out of Sheerness with all the people, Mr. Shorts, Mr. Rolls, all of those people, Royce, in Sheerness in 1910. Unbelievable. And they used to fly into there with, I mean, how they'd land, because I'm a pilot and I fly and I wouldn't land there under any circumstances, but in those days they did. Anyway, that's another story really, but my father bought it, and then within a few years his younger brother was interested in trains, and he acquired a few bits and pieces, and they put down a little bit of line, and then a few friends in the village came and they used to have a chat and did things, and it sort of grew from there. So they then started acquiring bits and pieces, got given things or loaned stuff, and it just.
But you don't just go out and buy a bit of railway and a train, really. I mean, it's like what people do. It's like from Hornby or something like that.
Well,
Yeah, and actually the amount of people who we meet now who say, "Oh, my husband," or I've got an engine. I came across it and it was a bargain, and it's a project. People want a project a problem-solving engineering project to get stuck into, keep their mind busy, and to restore something. But this is just sort of where other people have come in, and it's become a collective, hasn't it?
It's very much a collective because, I mean, some of the stuff that's there is just volunteers saying, "Can I keep my steamroller there?"
Okay.
Yeah, sure. The space. So or can I keep? I've got 3 tractors. Can I bring my old tractors? The key. My father was quite keen. yes, he wanted to play with trains, but he had a big thing about engineering and saving. His passion originally was farm equipment and stuff like that. And my uncle's passion was railways. So, and I always was interested in saving old engineering. So it sort of went on from there, and it just grew. And my father didn't need to. It wasn't a business; it was just a hobby that he could afford to do. So therefore, he made collection, and other people brought bits, and it didn't have to make money. He opened it up, and people would come, and they would pay to come sometimes, and sometimes he would just open it up, and it would be
Nobody came.
and nobody came. Sometimes it was nobody came. So
But
that's
it
where
didn't
it came
matter
from.
at the time. It was about showcasing what him and the volunteers
What they were doing,
what they were achieving. Yeah, absolutely.
and they were saving all sorts of things. And I had that passion as well of saving bits and pieces. So all sorts of things. One of the things I got is just terrible. I was in America with my wife on holiday. We're walking down this street, and there's a fire engine. Now, it's not a small fire engine. You've seen it, so you know it's not a small fire engine.
Yeah.
It's 25 tons, 105-foot ladder, and it's standing outside the fire station. And we started talking to the fireman and having a chat with the people, and he said, "Oh, well, we're going to cut it up." You can't cut this up. It's beautiful. So they said, "Well, yeah, but we got a big grant for a new one on the grounds that it's not fit for purpose. So we have to cut it up so it can't be used by anybody else." I said, "What if I took it back to the UK?" He said, "Oh, we don't have to cut it up if you did that." So most people come back from holiday with a stick of rock. I came back with a 25-ton fire truck.
And it is enormous.
It is enormous.
I guess at least if you need to do any trimming of any local trees, it's perfect because it goes straight up there because it's right up there, isn't it? It's very high.
And we have done that. But you get to the top of it here where we are, and when we're, what are we, 30 miles from Southend?
Yep.
You get to the top of the ladder, you can see Southend Pier from here.
Wow.
Across the Thames. It's amazing.
That vehicle amazes me because he came back from holiday and said, "Oh, I've bought a fire engine." Just, head in my hands, you've done what? What have you got now? But actually, it amazes me how popular it is. And it was used in the Batgirl film that was actually never released, which was such a shame. But I did get pictures with Gotham City stickers wrapped around it, which was amazing. And it's done music videos and all sorts. So it's amazingly popular.
Do you know what? You are the second guest we've had in the last year who's bought a fire engine.
Oh, really?
Yes. We had a previous guest who bought a fire engine. He runs a business called Wise Up, and they do
Corporate events
and team building events. And he bought a fire engine, which was used on the Top Gear track, and the fire engine was used there. And he bought the fire engine. He never told his wife he bought the fire engine.
He went home with the fire engine.
Home, and as he's coming down, he put the blue lights on and put the siren on, and arrived outside with us. So,
I did get permission. I have to say, she did have the opportunity. She was there when we discussed it, so it was not. So her indoors was very supportive. Thank you. But it was, but it's been like that because we save engineering, and not just me, but all the volunteers are keen to save engineering, our history. And that, although the American fire truck is not exactly our history, it's history of engineering and things. I mean, the last thing we did, Network Rail, or it's not Network Rail, it's the organisation that runs the railways in the UK, put out, and you can be on a list of things they're going to sell. And it can be railway gates, it can be, a sign, or all sorts of things. And this is, 6 years ago, we got an email. It came out and it said, Victorian Bridge over Garforth Station. And it's a footbridge. So it's over the main line, East Coast main line, over the footbridge. minimum bid £10. Buyer will dismantle and remove. Right, okay. So, anyway, in effect, it's not quite how it went, but effectively, I sent a note and said, we bid 0, but you have to deliver it to us. And they said, no, you don't understand. You've got to pay for it and you have to remove it. And I said, well, can you just check with the people who are arranging this to see if they will let a bunch of volunteers remove a bridge over a main line? And if they say yes, I don't want it, because at the end of the day, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And they came back and said, yes, you're right, we'll remove it. But you've got to pay for it to be returned to you. And I went, I can't do that. So I'll take it, I'll save it, but you've got to bring it to me. And anyway, after about 6 months, they came back and said, okay, when do you want the bridge delivered, basically?
Brilliant.
I mean, that's a short version. But in effect, the bridge came and we didn't, what have I done? This weighs, 60 tons or 50 tons or something, and it's not small, it's an enormous bridge. And so it arrived on 2 big low loaders. We had to hire 2 cranes to lift it off, it was so big. Anyway, we got it off. I thought, this is going to cost a fortune. I mean, how are we going to do this? This is not, effectively, we depend on money from visitors and donations, and we can't really do this. So have I bitten off more than I can chew? And the answer is I probably have, or we have, not just me, because all the volunteers are up for it. But subsequently, the Railway Heritage Trust rang and said, I understand you got a Garforth Station bridge. I went, yes. I said, I'm thinking they're after money from me, And I said, yeah, a bit, not offhand, but I was sort of a bit guarded because I can't afford, we can't donate money. We're struggling to survive. So I thought you might like some money. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm a little bit more interested now. And they very kindly donated initially £25,000 to get the footings and everything set up, ready to reinstall it.
So you could reassemble it.
Mm-hmm. And they've now offered a further grant when we finish to help pay for it. And we're short of cash. We're about £30,000 short.
So the bridge that you have coming down your drive, that's not that bridge.
Well, as you come down, it was over the bridge. It's not there anymore because we put it up. The engineers, I mean, I'm not an engineer really, but they put it up. This bridge was built in 1900. So we've got to put the footings in to place it over our line where the footpath is. So it'll be open to the public and everybody will be able to see this bridge when it's finished. And hopefully it'll stand for another 125 years. So we've got to get it right. If we're going to put the footings in, which we're being paid for, so that's ideal, but we've got to get it right. Well, we're depending on blueprints from 1895. How do we know it's the right size? The bridge has arrived on a trailer in pieces. So we put it back together, half back together, over the road, which is what you saw when you came last year, in order to measure it, to make sure that when we put the concrete in the ground, we got it in the right place. And it was 3 inches out, which is amazing. If you can do something that long ago and you're only 3 inches out, that's perfect.
Amazing.
Absolutely perfect. So we're underway with it now.
So the number of projects are far and wide, and we're getting to the point now where we're running out of space. So have to keep a rein on it a little bit, don't we?
Yeah, I've promised we won't take any more projects on because we're great at all of the volunteers are all the same as well. So it's not just me. We're great at starting things and we're not so good at finishing them. So we have to sort of rein in, say, let's finish a
The
project.
difficulty is now that you've taken over from your dad because he passed away in 2020, and me, your daughter, came to help you, and my brother. So we're very much mum and dad, myself, my brother. We all are there full time, keep working on this. But there's a balance between needing to bring in the income so that we can continue, and also, so to do that, we run events. We run monthly events during the summer. We do Christmas specials. We do all sorts of different events, from festivals to
Well, we had half-term diesels for the children, yes,
Yeah.
the last 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's managing and running a very busy schedule, particularly through the summer months, and maintaining the locomotives and the carriages and the line, etc., in order to run, versus also the projects that need to be furthered. So the bridge is the number one at the moment, but we've also got a number of, the locomotives are constantly needing.
I guess they always need maintenance as well. don't they?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
People don't realise, but it's a very interesting. Anybody who's into steam locomotives will know, but anybody who's not into steam engines of any sort, locomotives or other things, would not know that in order to operate them, either on the road or in public, effectively, you have to have them inspected every year.
It's a pressure vessel.
It's a pressure vessel, so you have to have a check, which there's a cost to that. It varies. You might only spend a few £100, you might spend a couple of £1,000, but it's that much every year. And then every 10 years, you have to completely strip it, dismantle the whole thing. And it has to be fully inspected and checked, every nook and cranny, before you can then put it back together. And if it's all okay, it might cost you £5,000 to £10,000 to do that. If there's a problem, it could be anything from £20,000 to £50,000 to do that per engine. We've got 12 steam engines,
Wow.
so we're doing that every year. So the cost is horrendous, unless you could mothball them, and we have to mothball some because you can't. It's
Just can't
physically
keep them.
impossible
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of that inside, internally with our volunteers and so on, so that keeps the cost under control. But there's still a cost that has to be met.
When you say volunteers, I'm very intrigued. Obviously, this is coming from the times of your dad, because you said back in the time they start to have. But what is in nowadays? What mean volunteers? Are they people? Where are you based, or they can be in any form from different places? What is their role?
Well, that's some of them are still the same people who used to come before. And friends of the family are local to the railway in Bredgar. But actually, since we've taken over, we have had a lot of new people, and particularly youngsters who are interested in engineering, interested in transport, interested in trains, and want to be a part of that. And it's such a rare opportunity for teenagers or young people to get that hands-on opportunity. So I'm really proud of being able to inspire younger people to come and get involved. But generally, it tends to be people who come to visit and they just go, because it doesn't have that commercial feel. We're family run. It's very informal, and people feel like they want to be a part of that. And it really does feel, to me, a community. And people come to spend time and work alongside like-minded people.
And when they work, it doesn't need to be only about the engines on the locomotive. They can help in any different
Absolutely.
forms and whatever they can bring to you.
Yes,
And it has to be, because we had a thing last year. There was a lot of trees down, and we've got a lot of woodland and trees.
And the line goes through the woodland, so it's imperative.
So we spent 3 months picking up sticks. Is there anything else we can do that gives us a bit of? So we try and move things around, but there are things that you have to do. like
there's a lot of ground maintenance. There's a lot of
fences.
yeah, but we've got people who want to volunteer and help with the marketing. There are people who want to volunteer and help with the accounts. We've got a tea room. You know, there's all sorts of jobs. I mean, last year I had a lot of volunteers would come and the men would come and help and do engineering things. And occasionally I'd have a lady come with them, wife or mum or sister or friend, and we'd do a crafting session because we were making things for the Christmas event. So we're making props for Christmas. So there's all sorts of things for, you know, you don't have to have the slightest interest in trains to have a part there.
They started early.
January we started
Last
January
for December,
doing the Christmas props all.
and they
Oh,
made
yeah.
this complete village in miniature, and it was amazing.
Out
All
of
lit
jars
up.
and clay. It was really no, but we had such fun. So
But
So-
that's the thing. You definitely, I think, you create community. It's just that's the. And talking now about these volunteers, and I can see your passion. I can see how this is coming. I think this morning we had a chat about that. That how much people like you and businesses need exactly this type of people that will come, support, help. And it's not always about they will be able to donate or give you money.
Yeah.
But with their
Time.
knowledge, time,
Yeah.
they will definitely support.
I think it's
could
so
not run
value
without
added, though,
them.
isn't it? I mean, you walk in. I remember as you come down the drive, and you come down. Obviously, when I came, I saw the bridge, and then you come around the garden, and the garden and the grass. And it's just beautiful. And obviously, in the springtime, you're going to have all the daffodils out, and you've got the bluebells, and honestly, and you see it, and it's just like it's almost like walking onto a set of like a film. And it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's so picturesque. And then you hear the sound of the steam engine or the train, and then you see the excitement, and then you walk around the corner, and there's like a turntable where the trains can turn around, and there's the signals and the house, and then obviously where the cafe is, and you look at the cafe, and it looks like a little railway station, like where you go in and have waiting room, and you walk in, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I know for the cakes and the teas and coffees you have, it's just honestly as an experience when you first walk in, and for anyone who goes for a day out or a morning out or an afternoon out, absolutely amazing. But as you said, you know, to inspire young people to come into engineering,
that's
to see
amazing.
the opportunities, it's just incredible, because you've got all lathes and like workshop area and stuff to work. It's just
all
phenomenal.
sorts. And actually, one of our volunteers, I mean, he's just won. He's, I think he got joint winner of a volunteer of the year, young volunteer of the year, and they're going up to Westminster to some. And I should
To
know
get
this,
the
and I
awards.
don't know.
No, that's
the,
fine. Yeah,
the name
words
of the
maybe,
group,
yeah, whatever.
but it's a national group of volunteers. It's a group of groups of all the volunteers. He's 21 now.
He's been coming to the railway with his family since he was 5. And I still use a picture of him. She'll kill me. I still use a picture of him and his brother dressed up in their little Halloween outfits as sort of 5 and 6 year olds. You know, because it's
On the
so,
station.
so cute.
They're so sweet.
But you know, they started volunteering as early as possible, and now he is being given an amazing responsibility. He's been shadowing the volunteer who
That runs the big event days. Well, he was he learned to. He got passed out to drive one of our diesel locomotives before he got his driving license. he could drive on paper. He could drive a locomotive on our line
Yeah.
before he could drive a car.
he's very switched on, and and there are more coming through like him, which is just so wonderful.
Is there a way that if someone want to volunteer, you say yes or no, or most of the
We
time
don't
it's
say
like
no
open?
to anyone as long as they're capable of doing and prepared to get stuck in. Because if you come along on day one and says, right, I want to drive a steam train, well, that's going to take a while,
Yeah,
you know. And so everyone kind of starts at the bottom.
of course.
And yeah, absolutely. And is prepared, as long as you're prepared to get stuck in and do what everyone else is doing, then there's then there's room for you, and there is no age limit. Oh, there's a younger age limit because
Yeah, of
we are
course.
not a care providing
Yeah.
facility. So if
Yeah.
you're in your teens, you will need to come with an adult, with your adult.
Yeah.
But there's certainly no upper age limit. We have people in their 80s, and there's people. We find that if you are struggling to keep up with the work, you just go at your own pace, you know. And there are some people who come for the cup of tea and the chat, and do what they can, and that's them.
And they
that's
often
them
will
done.
just sit and do a bit of painting or something
Yeah.
like that.
Bit
We've
of
got so much
polishing.
to do.
And yeah, there's something for everyone.
There's something for everyone. It's and they all. We have a volunteer days, Wednesdays, and of course a lot of people who work can't come on Wednesday. So we have a core of people who either get the time off or are retired or whatever. They come on Wednesdays during the day, and then in the evening they usually start at 9 and finish at mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
And then we get a second batch come in the evening, and they work in the workshop and do other stuff in the evenings.
And share dinner together.
And then
don't
we
they?
share a fish and chip supper at
Oh,
sort of 8 or 9
yes.
o'clock. And so, and that's a sort of a core of people who do things for the railway. But some of the volunteers only come on our event days, and they help do the car park or
Tickets. And
ticket. There's so many other things that we need doing on an event day when we've got,
hundreds of people there.
hundreds
The
and
thing is,
hundreds
it's
of
that much
people.
more interesting and exciting than sitting at home watching the television or going out somewhere, like just to do something for the sake of it. But actually, I guess the sense of community, the sense of
Yeah.
working together,
This is
the
what-
opportunity to do like teamwork and to build like teams and also like for the youngsters, obviously to experience things that would never get the opportunity to do
Yeah.
in today's world.
We do some. Is it Mid Kent College
Yeah.
bring a bunch of people for a day or half a day, usually probably about 10 or 12 days a year. So they turn up with a minibus and all this, and they come and pick up sticks or do whatever we
Well,
need to do.
they're usually a group. I think they're special needs, that group, aren't they?
They are special needs,
And-
and they're not. Some of them really struggle at all, but there are some there that they keep coming back. They've been there for 2 years, so I think we won't see them this year. I think some of them will be finished, but
They get an opportunity to do things that they
Amazing.
just wouldn't normally get to do.
we get them to be able to ride on the back of a trailer or get on the tractor, and a couple of them were quite good, and I had them driving a tractor with me, just and it was like
And for the
fired them up.
Yeah.
And it's important to fire young people up.
It is,
Oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
this is one, and we want, yes, one of the reasons to start this podcast is to show that they need to dream, they need to try, they need to go and give themselves a chance to try different things and to bring all this, because nowadays everybody thinks that just with internet they can wake up millionaires,
Yes.
where that's not the reality, and that's why we are here. And I absolutely love what I hear. I want to ask you, how did you find Nick McGowan and how you managed to get to his platform, and obviously
That's a really good question, because we've been with What's On in Kent for a number of years now, and I think what happened was Nick visited the railway and said, and he invited us to come on board with his platform, with
Yeah.
his app, so that we could share our events and try and reach more people, because we're a small operation and we have very limited ability to advertise.
Yeah.
And I found it an excellent platform for helping to reach out,
Sure.
and then following on from that, the networking events, just
Yes.
to sort of top it up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
bring
Makes all the difference. doesn't it?
I'm a bit intrigued about your, obviously, when you were growing and you were surrounded by all that environment. when you finished the secondary school, what were your thoughts? What did you want to do? Did you
Oh,
go
gosh.
universities, or did you know that you want to do this?
Well,
No.
no. Here's the thing. Dad and I worked together before in his previous business. He had a computer software company, and after when I left school, I went travelling and did lots of things abroad. And I came back and I was like, well, I suppose I have to get a job. And he said, oh, come in on Monday, I'll find you something. So we did. And then, but then some years.
I couldn't get rid
No.
of her. I tried not paying her, but it still didn't work.
And then I went and joined the police. I joined Kent Police and was with them for 10 years. And only left the police because it wasn't conducive with having a family. It made it very difficult to be able to. I just couldn't balance having children and being effective in the role that I had there. And it completely coincided actually with the railway coming into, with Dad taking over the railway. And even though I kind of always knew that there would be that opportunity, the time would come where it would be an option for us to continue it. And in my head, I always knew that that we would do that. So it kind of felt like a fait accompli when that finally came about. And I said to Dad, I want to come and work with you because I wouldn't be anywhere else. If you're doing this, I want to be a part of it. So yeah.
And it's I like to save engineering, so I'm passionate about saving Victorian engineering and educating or seeing youngsters. We do a lot of school visits and things like that, so that's all important to us to show people what these things do. That's my passion of getting everybody together and having Christy. I'm not very good at the PR side. I'm not particularly good at that. I was supposed to be really good. I did that in my business and I was terrible at it. But having said that, the family got together to do it, and the volunteers. When my father passed away, we've been closed. It was COVID and all the other stuff. So a lot of the volunteers disappeared. So we were down to 4 or 5 people. We're now over 100 volunteers. Not all, they don't all come every week, but there's 100 volunteers. We will see all of them at some point in the year. And that's critical to keeping the place going and giving children, kids, youngsters, teenagers, and the other end of the spectrum, the older people, somewhere to go and have a chat and have a coffee and have a...
Escape to luxury at Hempstead House Hotel and Spa, an elegant country house hotel in Bapchild, near Sittingbourne, Kent. Relax with indulgent spa treatments. Dine in style with exquisite cuisine. Perfect for getaways, weddings and events. Experience luxury in the heart of Kent. Book your stay today.
Be the first to discover Kent's best events all in one free app. What's On in Kent is a new and rapidly growing app where you can find days out information, places to eat, festivals, concerts, markets, and much more around you. Just with few clicks on your phone or computer, you can stay updated with real-time info and explore events across Kent. Don't even think twice. Just download. It's free.
Thing is, I always think that we're like, if we think about steam trains and how the trains started in the first place, obviously they came about at the sort of right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, and the Industrial Revolution actually used the opportunity for incredible British engineering to design things and to build things and to make things out of steel, to use our local resources, whether it be wood or coal, things that we had around us. And we could use those to build something incredible. And today, when you look at how a steam engine works, how a diesel engine works, the principles of an internal combustion engine, they are all things which are part of today's engineering skills, whether it's electrical, mechanical, whether it's steam, pneumatics, all those things are principles of today's engineering. And I always think that engineering is actually one of the most exciting careers today. Everyone wants to be on YouTube. They want to be like a presenter. They want to be an actor. They want to be a sports star. But actually, one of the most exciting things to be part of is engineering, because engineering is the fundamental of everything we have, whether it's a house, a door, something made of wood, our kitchen, the things that, like things
Everything.
that surround us. And obviously, everyone wants transport. They want a car. They want to go in an aeroplane. They want to go on a train. They're going to travel. But all those things need engineering. And actually, technology is evolving and changing. But the basic parts of everybody's life and infrastructure is based around everything you've got on the railway. And I mean, because you haven't just got steam engines and diesel engines, you've got cars.
Yeah.
You've got obviously like agricultural aspects of it. You've got ground maintenance. There's all these different aspects, and they're just super exciting and interesting, aren't they? And what an ability to learn from people who just have a passion for it, rather than sometimes you go to like somewhere and it's like, oh, well, we're going to do this, and it's all a bit of a boring lecture. But if you come along to you guys, you're going to get something amazing. And at the end of the day, you're going to go home feeling as if you've actually achieved something.
Yeah.
And that is so valuable today.
It's good. I mean, this year we're doing something completely new. We've never done this before, and it's quite difficult to organise. We're doing an engineering day for youngsters. So they can come along and have a day where they experience all the different things, sampling engineering, including riding on the footplate of a steam locomotive. It's not going to be a 20-minute train ride. It's a few minutes round the station, but effectively you get on the footplate of a live steam and it's moving.
And you're giving it a go. And when we say youngsters, we mean sort of 7 up, so kids who are really switched on and keen and into this stuff, because there's a lot who are, who are 100% in it.
Yeah.
And it's not just getting on the footplate, is it? It's
No.
signals. It's getting on the turntable. It's having a go in the workshop, from cleaning to looking at the tools. It's a fully supervised with your own adult and with experienced trainers to give people a proper hands-on, because they don't normally get that. They can come and they can have a look around as a visitor.
Have you got date about that?
Yes, it is the 30th of May this year. So
Okay.
I know, it's very exciting.
It's very exciting. We've never done it before, but I think it will be.
Sounds.
We've had
My
a few
son got
bookings.
first ticket. He was
We've got a few bookings, so it's quite good. But it's to do that is, I think is really important to give some of these kids. I mean, this is a few years ago. It was funny, really. We had a school came, and they were 6 to 9 years old. 5, 6 teachers. There was probably 15 kids, and they came, and they had a ride on the train, and then we were going to take them into the workshops. And one child in particular, I knew it. I can't remember his name because it was several years ago, but he was everywhere, and the teacher was shouting at him all the time, trying to get him.
Don't touch, come here.
Just,
which of course is right.
it is right, because it's a dangerous place for children. Anyway, so I said, well, when we go in the workshop, let him come with me. So come here, hold my hand. He was 6, I think, 6 or 7. Anyway, we got in, and they were okay. This is a steam engine. This is how it works. This is roughly what happens. What happens when water gets hot and gives off steam, and all the things that you would do to teach a child. Any questions? And they were going, well, what colour's this? And this child said, how does the steam push that thing across there to make the wheels go? I mean, it was like he worked out that for the wheel to go round, the steam's got to push it that way. How does that going that way turn a wheel round? So, okay, that's a really good question. I explained it. Anyway, when we came out, one of our tractors was standing with an auger on the back. So it's up in the air.
Which is a massive drill.
Yeah, it's a massive drill standing on the back of a tractor. standing on the concrete, so it's not going anywhere standing there. And we came out, and the kids are all having lunch, and this child's underneath the tractor,
Looking.
And of course they're shouting, "Hang on a minute, let me just go and find out what are you doing down there?" He said, "Well, I'm trying to see how it works." He's 6 years old. I said, "So what do you think it is? Let's start with that." Well, he said, "It drills holes. I can see it drills holes." But he said, "If it drills holes, that has to turn. How can the tractor make that turn like that?" So I said, "Okay, let me explain." So I explained to him how it worked. "Oh, that's clever, isn't it?" And he was gone again, back to his lunch. But that's the child he's the engineer that's going to send somebody to Mars in 20 years' time.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So he's the child that we need to.
But I like that, honestly, absolutely. I never knew that this opportunity exists, and especially so close to where I'm living as well. I remember when my son was young, we were going somewhere. He loved trains and Thomas the Tank Engine. And we were going, I don't know, it was somewhere Ashford area that you can get to a train that it was just a train, but they make it as...
Was that right when he attempted them?
Yeah, I don't remember even. Yes, but obviously all this thing, but it was just you get on the train, you go from A to B and come back.
Yes.
And never what you are offering is a proper experience for anyone who loves that to actually get to there. It's not, and it's unbelievable how some kids can be really switched on and they're really they've got the opportunity to see and to experience that. I've been in the winter time in Germany, and I was amazed. My friend's son is he's in the stars, astronaut, all these things. But it was unbelievable how many workshops and places they've got over there. I was amazed that they can actually do something similar. They go and experience. And this is when we talk about these things. And I was thinking, I don't know anything around me that kids can go and do the things a bit with their hands.
Yes. Exactly.
Where now you are telling me that, actually, it is here. And
there's lots of opportunities to pay lots of money and experience looking at something.
Yeah, but when it's to...
Yeah, but actually hands-on to learn and to spark and to answer those questions for them.
I've got a question for Bill. You said you had a previous business. Have you been always entrepreneur? Did you work for someone back in the time?
Or you always been an entrepreneur, even when he did work for someone.
I love that.
I worked for a few people when I left school. I mean, I left school with nothing. And I completely wasted my time at school. It didn't
no qualification.
It wasn't your thing, yeah.
There's a song that came out in 1970, 72 called Time by Pink Floyd. And I don't know if anybody... It's one of the few songs that you can listen to, and it is the whole of life in 4 verses. For everybody. Everybody in this world will have experienced that life. When you come to pass away, that was your life. Okay? Everybody will have had that. Every experience in that song. So, and that struck a chord with me, and I thought, this is a serious problem. I'm that person in the first verse who's kicking around on a piece of waste ground, not doing anything, and I'm going to find. The song goes on and said, before you realise it, 10 years have got behind you, and you've missed it. You're already past. So my passion then was that spark. I've got to do something about this, and my passion now is to try and inspire the kids so they don't miss the starting gun and that they do get inspired early on so that they do something. But for me, I did all sorts of things, running bits of business. I worked for other people for the odd day, and then I joined a company and became a chartered loss adjuster when I realised I had to get my act together and do my exams, and which I did, got it all effectively 2 degrees and whatever. So that was all okay. But having done that, I was still not happy working for somebody else. I couldn't deal with that, so I ended up.
You were working for your dad.
I worked for my dad. Yeah, he was his business, and that wasn't. It was good, but when you're the boss's child, you get all the shitty jobs. I shouldn't say that, but you do get.
Is it Christy?
Because you can't say no, or it's difficult to say no. So to a degree, I got that situation, and in the end, I said, I can't do this. I've got to go and set up and do something else, which is what I did. And that's when we started the software business. And
How you come up with the idea for software business? Computer software, because I think computer software
it was
when
computer software
you
in
started
the
was quite
80s, 90s.
90s.
beginning
90s.
of the
And
actually
it's
becoming
Yeah.
quite a thing, isn't it?
It was early on. I'd done a bit of work when I worked for my father. I was involved in some of the computerization that they did, but that was very early days. And my brother came up and said, "You do a bit of software stuff." And, yeah, I said, well, can you write a program that does this? Yeah, I'll do that this afternoon. No, don't do it. He came back with a lever arch file of all these screens laid out and how it all worked. So he designed it, and I wrote. Well, he and I wrote the program primarily. He sort of did stuff between us, and it sort of went from there. And we ended up with an office in Chicago and doing different stuff. So
I love how he
all
talks with the
business.
things like, yeah, we just had here in Sittingbourne an office and just a business. You had something global
Huge.
and big.
Yeah.
It
Obviously.
went reasonably big. We were never. We were successful enough, but only just. It was never, not a Bill Gates style or
And
any
no
of these
Bill
other
Gates,
things.
but still, I assume it was to have a
Yeah.
office in
But
Chicago.
we made a
Good.
reasonable living over a
Yeah.
period, and then we were successful in selling to big corporations in America, and I was getting close to retirement by then, so I decided that was we'd just sell the
So
business.
the time worked good for you
So
in
the
this
time
term?
went well. I retired, and it was lovely. And I retired and did my own thing for about 3 or 4 years, and then suddenly, got bored. And then the railway needed saving, so it was a case of we've got to do this. So.
And that's the thing, is it was a case of everything happened as it should have done, really, timing wise, because when your dad passed away, it was you and your 4 brothers, and initially the plan was to sell the whole place.
Break
but
it
then
And is it just you then, obviously, if you have 4 brothers, is it just
It is
you
just
who are
We
looking
had to-
after?
yeah.
Or
They didn't want to know.
they do know?
So-
and it was the emotional aspect of having to remove the track that
I couldn't do it.
No, you've got something far too special there. No.
Absolutely.
The volunteers were incredibly grateful and supportive, because I think it was emotional for everybody, and I think it would have been devastating to have had to have shut it at that point. So it worked out.
It worked out. It was a very difficult period, but COVID. It was the period of COVID, so
Yeah.
with everything, we weren't alone in going through a difficult period.
No,
So,
totally.
but
Just
well-
at the time when we needed people to come in and be part
Lockdown.
of and lockdown was happening, it was just every business had such a
That,
rough time.
yeah.
but it's it worked really well. I mean, you talk about young people missing, and I was in my early 20s when I realised that if I didn't do something about getting an education, I would miss the boat, and I really needed to do that. Even if I was working with my hands, you still need to be able to understand it. If you're going to be an engineer, you need maths, you need this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was hopeless. There was a funny story. I was talking to somebody else the other day, and in the village I lived, there was a community school. They call it a college now, but it was a school. And I had to do 2 A-levels in order to start my professional exams. And I didn't have any A-levels. So I thought, I'll do the course. So I said, I did correspondence course at the time to do this, and they said, you've got to find somewhere to sit the exam. Well, I went to the local college, and he said, well, we don't do A-levels. We don't do any A-levels at all. So I said, well, is there any chance I could sit them? He said, oh, yeah, we can organise it. I'll make sure you get the papers and you can sit in the back of the room with all the other kids doing O-levels and GCSEs and whatever. You can do your exams in the back of the class. I'm in my mid-20s or early 20s, and all these kids are 14 and 15, 16 in there.
Can you imagine that now?
So it was uncomfortable for me a bit. But anyway, I sat in the back of the room, I did the 2 exams, and I passed, which was as I hoped. And I was quite friendly with the headmaster. He came back, he said, he said, I owe you a drink. I said, why is that? He said, you're not going to believe this, he said. He said, we're the top school in the whole of the southeast for pass rates at A-level. And I said, why is that? He said, because you got 100%. He said, and you're the only person we had. So you did 2 exams, you got them both. We've got 100% rating. We're at the top of the rating.
Wow, that's
So,
it.
you look in the statistics, it's not right. But so he was absolutely pleased because his school was suddenly at the top of all these ratings at the time.
But it goes to show as well, like, isn't it, sometimes when you're young, you don't see the motivation in actually achieving your results and stuff. And unless someone really gives you the drive and the push, and that, I mean, some parents can like push their child into a situation, or sometimes you have a vision and a dream and you want to achieve something, so you do it. But like most of the time when you're like 13, 14, 15, there are millions of other distractions, and nothing's
Especially
quite
now.
as exciting.
Especially
Especially now. But when you get to a certain point, you realise that my only way is to do that. I mean, you showed that
You can do it.
Yeah, you put yourself into a situation that maybe most even young adults wouldn't want to do, to go and sit at the back of a classroom where full of 13, 14, 15-year-old kids doing other things. But you've got to do, sometimes you've got to step out your comfort zone to achieve something amazing.
Yeah, and that was a kick that I needed to get onto the learning curve. But most people do it when they're 14, not when they're 24, you know. So,
but it just shows you that it's never too late to change things around, and there's never too late to to achieve something. And you've never lost it, really. You've never passed it, and it doesn't matter what age you are. I think there's you can always start over. If that's what you're motivated by, if that's what your dream is, you should take it.
and doing the stuff we do with the railway and getting the youngsters in, and trying to infuse them to do stuff and learn about that, and get a feeling of doing work and doing stuff, and giving some older people a place to go and still feel they can pass on their knowledge and whatever. It's all really important stuff.
And I'm sure you two feel very much fulfilled with that, to see when you go and see what's going on. I know that on the background is difficult, but once you go there, most probably you see all these faces and people around and happy. That's what makes you happy, that you're achieving and doing something for others.
Yes, I think I definitely feel that more so in the summer. Because
Of course.
in the winter it's just cold and long. It's cold and wet mainly. But I think when everything comes together, and particularly in the summer, and you see the place at its best. For me, I feel a real deep sense of gratitude to the people who come to the railway. Yes, as a visitor, but mainly as a volunteer. For me, I think we could not do this without them, and it's a privilege to be able to provide something, or that it has become something of a community and like-minded people, and I'm thankful for that, because it is a team and a group effort, and it's not always easy and it's not always fun. But people still come, and they all come for the collective cause, and I think you really do see the fruits of that in the summer, when everything's beautiful and everything's running and everything's maintained and everything's and you think,
So, Christy, if people want to come along and to visit, what days are you open?
We are open the first Sunday of every month from May to September.
Okay.
From May to September. There are Steam days, and it's definitely best to book on the website. You get a cheaper deal on the ticket on the website. But there are also other events all through the summer. So we have a wood fair in July, which is a weekend of celebration of wood crafts. It's fabulous. We have a strongman competition weekend, which includes the main event is a train pull, which I know.
Wow.
Super.
It's not for you,
They
man.
trialled it last year,
Yeah.
and they have a men's version and a women's version. And I couldn't believe some of the women. I couldn't pull this thing, and I couldn't have pulled it even 10 years ago. I don't
Excuse
know.
me,
Pulled
you
it.
couldn't believe some of the women.
Pulled.
Maybe
pulled
they.
this train. It was tough.
I'm sure it was tough. Well, anyway, let's not go down there. But yes, it's
Some of them were
they
unbelievable.
had
No, I'm
waiting
sure
lists of people wanting to do this.
Wow.
So they sold their competitor tickets and they had waiting lists, and so they're doing it over an entire weekend this year.
So it's a proper strong person.
Thank you,
Train
strong
pull.
person weekend of events, lots of different things that they'll be doing. It's very exciting.
It will be good. A lot of these events are not all. We don't arrange them all.
Yeah.
Other people, we help. We facilitate.
We are
these
the
events
venue.
and things. We're
Yeah.
the venue,
That's,
but
yeah.
Although my favourite event of the year, and I got to tell you about this, is the storytelling event, which happens at the end of the summer. It's outside, professional storyteller. We have a big fire pit in the woodland. So we have the fire, the woodland, the evening comes down, everything's beautifully lit. And the storyteller, Jason Buck, storyteller, comes and tells traditional tales of sort of myths and legends. And it's completely rustic and it's just utterly magical.
What age group is that for?
Well, that's for teens
Adult.
and adults, so yes,
Okay.
not children. So
Yeah.
it's not a story
Yeah.
time sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing. No, it's definitely adults and teens, and unlike anything that you can experience.
what's weird is the first year we did it, we thought, well, we'll get a few people, and we got, I don't know, 40 or 50 people, 40 people came, and we've done 3 years now, right? Is it 3?
Yeah, the first year I think we had about 30 people. We just about covered the cost for Jason, who is incredible, and now last year we had 120 people. So
Wow.
just the
Yeah.
but it didn't feel crowded because the space is so
The space,
perfect.
yeah.
It still feels really intimate. And
Which month is happening this? When?
this year it's the 4th of September, so it's a Friday evening.
Oh, okay.
And if you're into sort of
Yeah, we will need to add this
it's
to my
completely
calendar.
magic.
It is magic, and the people are absolutely mesmerised by Jason. He is excellent at doing what he does. I mean,
So that's my favourite non-train related
Event.
event. Yes.
so yeah, and we've got a music event as well. So we've got
Oh, yes,
5
a music
local
festival.
bands coming to do music, sort of music and trains and.
Beer.
So check the website
Yeah, definitely.
Check the
and
website.
find what is best suit for you. But yeah, I think this is magical. Thank you very, very, very much for coming. And yeah, definitely you want me. I'll bring my team there and I'll share the word because, as I said in the beginning, it's crazy how I live
Something amazing
so
on our
close
doorstep.
and I didn't
Yeah.
know about it. So that's the mission, to spread the word a lot about this place.
Yeah, I think to enjoy the Kent countryside and to hear a steam train and to see what you guys have got, because it's not just the railway, there's also like there's the shed with different steam trains in, there's various different types of cars, there's
Yeah.
the fire engine,
Huge
there
Oh,
is,
this
railway.
fire engine.
and
we need
you've
to
got
go
an
and
incredible
see.
clock, if I remember, there was an amazing clock as well. So it's like
He remember
so
everything.
there's so much to see.
So much to see.
And a model railway as well inside.
Yeah.
Huge model railway. Yeah, that's a big draw.
Yeah.
I always walk into the shed and look. There's a model railway in one corner. There's a steam pump engine that dates from the 1850s, and you think. And then you look round. And there's a Fire Street missile tied to the roof. You know, and you think, how did that? I have no idea where that came from. Somebody's brought a Fire Street missile and they've chained it to the roof of the building,
And there it remains.
and there it is. And you just think there's a lot of things in here that weird stuff, an eclectic mix.
So,
Before we finish, I've got some great things I've got for you. Dr. Rand, he was one of our guests, and he wrote an amazing book, Quick Wake Up to Power, very much to do with mindset, but I'm sure you will love it, and it's absolutely amazing. And also I've got something small, because on a side hustle, I that's for your dad, and this is for you. I'm an independent ambassador for skincare, which is UK produced, natural, amazing. So I want to take the opportunity to say thank you. I really hope so. And thank you very much for your time, for being here, and I really hope we can do something
Thank
together.
you for inviting us, because it's nice having a chat.
Absolutely.
It's always nice to have a chat.
So we hope you've enjoyed this morning's episode, and please do visit the Bredgar Wormshill Light Railway down near Sittingbourne. You'll find it. You can find it on Google Maps very easily. We'll put the link below to the website. Do go and have a look. If you're local in Kent, definitely it's going to be a great day out for you. On whatever the weather, it'll be amazing. So come and meet these two amazing people, Bill and Christy. Thank you both very much.
And if you want to help and support our project to be able to bring more and more inspiring and amazing guests like today, please buy us a coffee on the link below. And we're looking forward to see you next time.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.